Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our next session. We are flying through the afternoon agenda of day 15 of the Vid19 conference. We're joined by the wonderful Kim Cousins from the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. Probably a little bit warmer up there than it is in Melbourne today. So nice wrap up in my scarf here, Kim. I'm sure it's a bit warm and tropical where you are. So Kim's going to take us through selling with heart during tough times. And we've just done the money workshop with Peter Cook from Thought Leaders, and this is a really nice segue into actually how do we maintain some momentum in our business and sell with a bit of heart and a bit of empathy. So Kim, I'm really looking forward to seeing where you take us with this. For people that have been on a Vid19 session before, welcome back. If this is your first one, welcome. We have been talking for 15 days, but still some great content coming through. If you could open the chat box for me, you'll find it in the menu at the bottom, and just make sure that the to box is set to all panelists and attendees, and just pop a quick hello and where you're joining from to Kim, so she's reassured that there's people actually out there in the internet, and that would be great as well. So Kim, I'm going to hand over to you. I can already see Ruby joining, Fleur, who's been on a few sessions, Julianne's been on a few sessions as well. So we've got Sydney, Tauranga, New Zealand, Melbourne, Sunshine Coast, Hobart. So, Tracy Hamilton in New Zealand as well. So well represented. So Kim, I'm going to hand over to you. Thanks for sharing this session with us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia. And thank you so much for this opportunity. You know, what a huge task it's been for Julia to put on this amazing conference, but we're all so very, very fortunate to be able to hear from so many experts from all over the world, from wherever in the world you're located. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Kim Cousins, and selling with heart during tough times, I think, is a really important thing for us if we are salespeople or business owners. And, you know, salespeople traditionally have always driven economic growth and economic recovery. And so maintaining momentum in business, but doing it in a way that is sincere, shows empathy and continues to build trust is such an important thing right now. But for me, it's always been important. And throughout my whole career, I've always thought that that's the way selling should be. And I've worked with others that have not necessarily shared my philosophy, but it's something that I've held very close to my heart, to the extent that 18 months ago, I started writing a book called Selling with Heart, and it was released only just last week. And my message has remained the same. And then when I think about how that message is positioned right now for us in this tough time, it is more important than ever, because we need to keep our businesses going. We need to drive the wheels of business and momentum in the economic recovery. But we need to make sure that we are very mindful of situations that people find themselves in right now. So feel free to ask some questions as we go, and my apologies in advance if I miss any of your questions. We'll certainly catch them up at the end. And thank you, and it's really wonderful to see that we've got people joining, mainly from colder climates than what I'm in right now. It's the weather's beautiful on the Sunshine Coast, and I'm really, really very grateful and very fortunate to be living here. So let me take you through to a little bit of introduction about me, and I don't cover this to brag or boast, but I really want to ensure that you understand the credibility that I bring to this discussion. And what we're talking about today is not only the way things should be in selling, but the way they absolutely should be right now. But some of the practical things that we're going to talk about are things that work. They worked a month ago, they worked 2 weeks ago, and they're working this week with some of my clients and the people that I work with in my business, their clients as well. So they do bring results for salespeople and business people, and they are things that really work today. Now, I am qualified in a number of different things that really build that knowledge base, and my beautiful book, Selling with Heart, is there. And if you are interested, I can talk about that a little bit later as well. So I will move on from here. Now today, I do have a few notes, so I hope you'll bear with me because I wanted to make sure that I don't miss anything for you. There's 4 key areas that we're going to have a look at today, and one is having a winning mindset. And I don't mean winning at all costs. I mean winning in terms of how you approach the situation we're in right now and what you can do to make a difference through that. You know, today we need to be good at selling. We need to be good at selling digitally, remotely, but most importantly with sincerity, with authenticity and heart. And to do that, it really needs human-to-human connection. How do we do that when we can't have meetings? How do we do that when we can't meet someone in a coffee shop and catch up? How do we do that when we can't get into their boardrooms to sell to people? We can do that with the next best thing. And just as we are today in this type of online format, and also with picking up the telephone. And you're going to hear that from me a little bit today, picking up the telephone and actually hearing a person's voice and having the interaction that you get from that is what's going to draw that connection. And that's where your basis of trust comes from. Now, the biggest thing about being sincere and, you know, selling with heart is coming from a place of service. And when you serve your clients, you are ensuring that they get the value from that, from being of service. Now, you know your value and you know the value that you provide, but you really need to be able to articulate the value that they get from working with you, from dealing with you or buying something from you. So we're going to look at the value narrative. What's your sales narrative around the value or the outcomes or the improvements that your customer will get when they work with you? Then we're going to talk about at the end some classic step-by-step heart leg activities that you can engage basically today when we finish this webinar. Things that can help you get traction in your business, whether you take on these things today during tough times or whether you decide to wait till later. But whenever you decide to work through heart leg activities, my guarantee to you is that it's going to feel nice. It's going to feel better for you in that process. I often talk about, and I talk about in my book a little bit about reluctant salespeople. And a lot of reluctant salespeople are the people that now find themselves in their own business. And there probably will be more people starting their own businesses now or in the near future, particularly if they've been stood down or have been made redundant from another role. They may find themselves taking the opportunity to start something for themselves, something that feels right for them and something that feels right for the market, for their customers right away today. So reluctant salespeople don't want to be like the stereotypes that we've probably seen before. You know, the types that are pushy and aggressive and really don't care about anything except making the sale and getting the money. You know, your heart-led values will ensure that you are being of service and offering something that's of value to your clients that feels really nice and comfortable and authentic for you. I'm just going to move that screen down a little bit. And I've lost the chat screen. So if you just bear with me for one moment, I'm going to bring that up. And no, it's not coming up for me. Chat.
If you just try clicking on, can you see me?
No, I can't. Oh, yes, I can see you.
Yeah, just click on me. It should come back.
It's not coming back, I'm afraid. Okay.
Maybe go back up to the menu at the top.
That's okay. I clicked on Q&A and it's come back. So right, perfect. I think when I change a slide, it disappears, but now I know how to get it back. That's the main thing. Okay. Oh, I see. Yep. All right. So right now, you may be looking like this. You may be feeling like this. You may be thinking to yourself, but nobody's buying. People aren't interested. And the fact that you're here in this session, you certainly are probably thinking, I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to be seen as that pushy salesperson. I don't even want to be seen to be selling right now. How do you sell without actually selling? Well, there are ways. In my opinion, there are ways. But my question back to you, if I had, a salesperson in my team come to me and say, no one's buying, people aren't interested, I would say, how do you know that? How do you know that unless you have, in fact, engaged with your client? Now, I'm not quite sure of the businesses you are in. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to know No, I can't get it back again. Chat. No. There we go. It's back. I would love you, if you wouldn't mind, it's just if you're happy to share, just tell me what sort of business you're in, whether you are a salesperson selling for someone else or whether it's your own business. And I'd just like to know some of the industries that we've got on this call. I want to make sure that I can talk to some of those things that I might find, that you might find, okay, coaches, consulting, cool, all right. I'd expect that. And that's where I'm at as well. So how do we talk about that? Qualitative research, your own business. Okay. Someone who hasn't had to sell until now. Yep, that's right. We've got hospitality and events, tough one. Technology, you know what? You guys are in the hot seat right now. And online retail. Okay, good cross section. I love that point about someone on the chat said, reluctant salesperson, online learning, here we go. Haven't had to sell until now. Maybe you've had a marketing department that has been drawing in leads for you. Maybe you've had lots of money to spend on a marketing campaign or a Facebook campaign, whatever it might have been, and that's been bringing in leads to you. Maybe you've had word of mouth and people with an abundance of money that has brought business to you. Now you need to go out there proactively. There are people out there buying. There are people out there interested. If it's something that you have got that is going to improve their life or their business. Okay, we've got someone who does webinars for free, but reluctant to ask for a sale. Yes. Technology recruitment. Okay, that could be really busy right now. So there's a whole bunch of different people. Thank you for sharing that with me, because is there anybody who's working for somebody else? Just give me a quick yes. Or you're all pretty much working for yourself. Yes, working for someone else. Okay, good, thank you. Yes, all right. Okay, so we've got a good cross section. So that's fantastic, because pretty much everything I've prepared today is going to be relevant for different people in different particular ways. Fantastic. All right, no one's buying, people aren't interested, you don't want to be insensitive. Let's move on. But you know what, the truth is that with a good positive intent, a salesperson really is here to help people, work towards a brighter future. The salesperson is the eternal optimist in that they know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. They know that things will get better. If salespeople or people in a business don't believe that for themselves, it makes it really, really hard to portray that to your customers. Now, just saying positive words like, oh, she'll be right, mate, it'll be okay, is not going to cut it. Identifying that things are tough right now, we are in a tunnel, it's dark at the moment for some, but there is a light and we are working towards it. Now, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but Queen Elizabeth, our lovely Queen, televised her message to the nation and to the Commonwealth yesterday. And I thought it was really, really a really good, very concise, very informative and very impactful presentation by Queen Elizabeth. And I watched it a couple of times, and there was a particular part of it that really struck a chord for me. And I'm just going to quote it to you. She said, "When we look back, I want you to take pride in how you've responded to this challenge." Now, if we curl up into a ball in the corner and pull down the shutters and just hide from this and emerge again in 3 or 6 or however many months' time, we're going to be in the same place that we are today. And maybe we are today saying no one's buying, it's all very negative and we can't do anything. But if we emerge with this good positive intent and fight the battle, then it's been worth it. If we do nothing, then it's not been worth the fight whatsoever. And I think we owe it to others out there who are fighting it harder than we are. I think we owe it to the healthcare workers that when we get through this, that there's a world to come back to, and the wheels of business are still turning, and that we are still there as optimists, knowing that we can do good in the lives of our customers. I said that to my kids the other day. I've got teenage kids, and I said, don't just sit outside in the sun and watch Netflix. or they're on school holidays right now. But let's do some projects. Let's read some books. Let's organise everything. Let's do some planning. Let's, do things that we've been wanting to do for so long, but have always used that excuse we don't have time. And I think then when we emerge from it, we're going to have, I don't know about you, but my house is going to be clean. My cupboards will be organised. My business plan will be in place. My garden will be growing beautifully. And my puppy dog is going to be the fittest she's ever been in her life. So I think there's a few of us in that same boat. I'm going to try and get that chat back again. There we go. Just give me do you have thumbs up on here? No, I was just going to say, do you feel the same way that the fight is worth it? I'd really love to know if you share the same intent. Thank you.
You could raise the hand as well.
Raise your hand. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So those of you who are in business, whether you're in business for yourself or you're in business for someone else, if I asked you the question, what is it you do? I would say that pretty much off the bat, you would say, I help people with X, or I help people do X, or I help people achieve X. And the common word there is help. So you're all in the business of helping. You're all in the business of serving your clients. You're helping them do something. What we really need to nail down on, what is it you help them do? What is the problem you solve, and what can you help them achieve? And that's where our value narrative starts to build from. Okay. So with our positive intent, I want you to think about that mindset of being a beacon of hope. You are there to help. You are there to make a positive difference in your customers' lives and businesses. And the comment on the chat just there was that it's really hard to with so much uncertainty. Yeah, the only certain thing we have right now is uncertainty. And we can't let that engulf us. What we do have control over is how we react to it. And it's like Queen Elizabeth said, that she wants us to feel proud of ourselves and as to how we approached the challenging time. So excuse me, let me have a little drink. So being a beacon of help, beacon of help, yes, beacon of help, beacon of hope. It's all about stepping up. And some of you may be in businesses. I know there was an event management business, and that's a tough one, right? I have a friend here locally who was probably one of the biggest event management businesses on the Sunshine Coast. And she has flipped overnight to do e-event management, so online events. I guess something similar to this as a service. And she said that that's something that she's always been wanting to do so that she can expand her reach to beyond, the local area. And so she's already jumped in and been very successful with that. And she collaborates with videographers and what have you. And they've done it in a way that they don't even have to be in the same room together. So she's flipped that overnight, and she's turned, and she said, I was going to do that anyway. And this for her was the little push along that she needed to make that change so that she could continue to serve her customers. It's been quite successful for her so far. Now, being a beacon of hope and making a positive difference, I want you to think about two movies. You may have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, about stock market Jordan Belfort, who pretty much was all about nailing the customers and getting money. You know what? And selling and conducting business is about money. That's an outcome. That's a given. We don't even worry about that. So if you are thinking only about money, then that's where the sincerity will be completely lost. But if you think about another movie, The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and I don't know if you've seen that, where he, certainly a rags to riches story, where he was homeless with his son and then built a major corporation. But when he had a product to sell, but he talked about it in terms of what his customers, his clients would get and how they would be able to improve their business by using his piece of equipment. And he did it in such a way that was really raw and real and authentic and sincere. And he was very, very successful. And he had tenacity. He had many doors slammed in his face, but he kept going because he really had a positive intent, because he knew that that piece of equipment was the best thing for his clients to purchase at that time. So if you think about the two differences there, we certainly don't want to hate that negative stereotype of the Wolf of Wall Street. I really like the philosophies behind the pursuit of happiness. That is how we become a beacon of hope in uncertain times. You know, the truth is we need to go out and help people right now. And right now, you may have a particular product or service that maybe it's not what people need right now. Let's face it. So it is time to think about, well, with the talents and the knowledge and the expertise you have, what do they need help with? And right now, they may need just simply help. They may not be able to buy your product or service, but you are continuing to interact with them. And I don't mean go out there physically, unless it's something you need to deliver, etc. But going out, and I mean from that online perspective, that you can, that being of help and of being of service right now in any way you can is going to keep your customers within your circle of trust, and will build that foundation for you so that when things do improve, that you are still there with those customers. Because again, if you curl up in that corner and pull down the shutters, by the time you emerge at the other end, the customers are all gone. So that's another way of swinging things around to help your motivation and help your positive intent and your optimism. Now, your customers right now are worried, just as you are. They're worried about budgets. They're worried about cash flow. They're worried about having been laid off. They're worried about their teams. They're worried about the division of the business that they manage. They're worried about projects that they may have been working on for 12 months but are now being parked, or in fact have gone away. So there's lots of things that they are worried about as well. So what can you do? What can you do? You can pick up the phone and you can simply say, "Are you okay?" We are socially distanced, but we are not socially disconnected. I think about you guys on this call, and you're spread out around New Zealand, Australia, etc. How connected are we right now? We are a lot more connected now than we were an hour ago. And I really appreciate that, because I know that you're there. I can't see all your faces on this system. Wish I could, but then there'd be no space for the slides. But there's over 20 of you on the call, and I thank you so much for that. I don't feel disconnected at all. I feel quite connected with you. So my advice to you right now, if nothing else, and I hope there's a number of takeaways, but right now, particularly those who are perhaps a reluctant salesperson, is pick up the phone and speak with them. Because you know what? They'll answer. When people are now in their home office, they've got more time on their hands. They haven't got the distractions. If you can find their cell phone number, their mobile number, phone them. If you don't have their mobile number, there are ways of finding it using LinkedIn. Sales Navigator is one system that you could use. And I'd need another couple of hours on a webinar to talk about how you use Sales Navigator if that's something of interest to you. Maybe you can contact me later and we can have a chat. But don't have an angle. If you are thinking, you know, I talked about trying to sell without selling. Sell with a relationship, but a relationship that has value. So right now, "Are you okay?" might be the only thing that you can say, maybe the only thing you can think of saying. And just say, "What can I do to help you today?" And they'll say, "Nothing." Okay, that's fine. You know where I am. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying positive. I'd love to, you know, keep in contact with you, and feel free to reach out if you need me. That might be as simple as it gets. Or you might ring them up and say, "Are you okay?" And they might say, "You know what? I'm so glad you called. I was thinking about you the other day and I didn't have your number, but you know what? That thing that you said to me last month, I think that's something I need now. Last month I didn't need it, but now I do need it." It goes back to that question of people are not buying, people are not interested. You don't know unless you've asked them. If you're not interested right now, perfect. That's fine. If you're not interested right now, do you think you'll still be interested? Is it something of value that you could implement later? Now, they might say, absolutely, I just can't do it right now. You don't know that unless you've spoken to them. So my biggest advice to you, I'm going to say it a few times, is pick up the phone and as much as you can speak to your clients, your potential clients, your former clients, speak to your family, your friends, your neighbours, speak to your work colleagues, because everybody's working from home. You may be missing them as well. So why not chat to them? And even ask them what's working for them. Are they still able to conduct business? And share some ideas to help everybody lift, as they say, we lift the boats together as the sea rises. Okay, I'll just let you dwell on that photograph for a moment while I bring up the chat to see if anybody, anything there. What if you can't phone them? Retail online platforms. Okay, good question. So great advice for service businesses, but impossible for retail online. Any suggestions for online platforms? I don't know enough about your business to be very specific about some advice there. If you are running things through Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, the best thing is to keep in top of mind with people, is to do what you can with the marketing dollars that you may have, or do that yourself, and be real and raw and authentic with them. If there is a way of reaching out and getting a reaction and get some sort of engagement with them, then that's the best way that I'm thinking off the top of my head that you can engage with them right now. Excuse me. Crikey already. For online platforms. Yeah, look, at the end of the call, I was going to invite those that would like to hop on a call with me. Absolutely complimentary. I'd be happy to hop on a call with you about online platforms. And if it's something that I can't help you with, I might know someone who can help you a little bit further. But great questions, and keep them coming. I'm happy to customize as we go. So while you've had a chance to look at Arnie, it's really just is this the new normal? Is the new normal fighting over toilet paper? Is the new normal having no one at Times Square? Is that the new normal? What I think is funny at Times Square is that they're still showing the marketing and advertising and the billboards. I think they should just turn them off and save some power, but that anyway. But you know what? This new normal is a temporary new normal. There'll be a new normal once we get through the other side. So right now, doing everything online is all we've got. Coming out the other side, it may not all be online after all. I think a lot will remain online. So selling online and engaging online, I think is something that we were working towards anyway. Now we're forced to do it. I think for a lot of people, it's working really, really well for them. And so that the new normal will be that we're all much more efficient, that more people are working from home, that there'll hopefully less cars on the road and less emissions and all those sorts of things. So there was last month, 2 months ago, then there's now, and there'll be a new normal. And I think the three will be quite different. So it's time to adapt and change. And as I said, my friend with the events business, she's able to now do e-events. So we will recover. Let me move my notes. All right. So let's now talk a little bit more about that mindset. Now, the photograph of the empty office. You may be missing that hustle and bustle of a big office. You may you might be grieving for the ways things used to be. And that's all completely normal. And I'm sure there's been some fantastic sessions in this Vid19 conference that talk about how to deal with losing something and grieving for the way things used to be. Then you have people who are absolutely loving being at home, loving having more time with their children. There are people also not loving it at home, where the kids are, they're having to supervise school and a whole bunch of things. And I know for me, the biggest change has been that all day long, my teenagers want food. So, Mum, what's for lunch? Mum, can we cook something for afternoon tea? Mum, I need to be dropped to my friend's place. Mum. So I work from home anyway. That's not changed. It's just having everybody else at home. It's been interesting. Thankfully, we've all got separate spaces to work from. But that's part of that. The mindset is we embrace what we've got to work with right now. And having the noise of the kids in the background is authentic. Having the dogs barking is authentic. For you New Zealander people, we Australians love Jacinta Ardern as much as you do. And I loved seeing her on her Facebook Live in her tracksuit. And she's sort of sitting on the couch and she's got her arms wrapped around her leg and she's just really personable and authentic. And I'm not saying that that's going to work for all of you in your businesses. And, you know, maybe you don't want to see what I've got from the waist down, how I'm dressed. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that when stuff happens and the kid walks in or the dog barks, or just before I started this webinar, the neighbours started up a power I don't know what it was, a leaf blower, I think. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that's life. That's what we've got right now. So it's okay. And part of being authentic and real is picking up the phone. I don't think I can say that enough. Because we are all, there's my phone, we are all working behind social media, behind websites, behind even chatbots, and they can't get quite the same engagement. And I think being isolated, as we have been, really has proven that we don't want to be isolated. We want to be connected. What you will do is to improve the value that you offer to your clients. Is what else, what is the value that they get from you? Let's talk about that a little bit more. All right, so right now, in big business particularly, you've got a CEO sitting alone in a boardroom with senior managers or the board or whoever whoever he's got there, talking about what's happening for big businesses right now. Now, if we scale that down to a small business, the same sort of conversations will be had, and that is, right now, for us to survive, we need to cut costs. We need to improve cash flow. We need to, get people to pay their bills. We need to drive efficiencies. We now need to handle how we transact via these online mediums. They may be having discussions around, all of a sudden, they don't have any visibility of what their workforce is up to. They may not have visibility of what each person is achieving. Maybe they have managers whose mindset has really shut down. So there's got to be a myriad of things that someone heading up a business, whether it be a small business or a large business, are going to be most concerned about right now. Just as the things that you're concerned about right now for your business. They'll be putting things under the microscope. They'll be drilling down to the things that are really going to help keep them afloat, because the owners of the business don't want the business to fall over. The senior managers in the business don't want the business to fall over because they'll be out of a job. And so everyone's working really, really hard to see what they can do to hold on tight, to maintain what they've got so that we can reignite once we're through. So when you're speaking to these businesses, these people from the businesses, you've got to make sure that what you present to them is absolutely relevant to them. So if you're giving them a business case that is not relevant to them, it's an epic fail. They won't be interested whatsoever. And I'm thinking about particularly those of you who are telling me that now you have to outbound, you have to find new clients, you have to go out there and sell, which you've not used to before. Where you are out there talking or trying to get engagement with these people, they don't really care about you or what you do. They only care about themselves. They only care about the problems they've got. And all they care about is what you can do to help them solve those problems. So if you talk about organisations or other clients that you've helped like them, they don't really care. They only care about what you can do and what you can help for them. So you need to tailor and personalise everything to them. And some of the three things on the screen. So anything that's cutting a cost, improving their cash flow, improving their incoming earning ability, or driving some efficiencies, or helping them change their business to meet the market right now, They're some of the key things that you can lead with as problems that you can solve in whatever way you can in your business. All right, there's another lonely senior manager in a boardroom all alone and looking out at the very quiet world beyond. And you've phoned them up, or you've sent them an email, or you've connected with them on LinkedIn. What is he or she thinking right now? Who are you? What do you want? You're just trying to sell me something. Okay. Why do you do what you do? And why should I care? I think that's the most important thing. For those of you who've heard of a guy by the name of Simon Sinek, he's on YouTube, Simon Sinek on YouTube. He does the golden circles. And he talks about, we all know what we do. We all know how we do it. But do we really understand why we do what we do? And have we been able to articulate to our customers why they should care about why we do things or how we do things? So there's some challenges there. That senior manager or that business owner or the clients that you have, they don't care about you. They don't care about whether you make the sale or not. They only care about whether you've got something that can help me right now. Maybe you have something that might have been good for me a couple of months ago, but right now is what you've got the right thing for me now? And is that going to help me survive so that I can emerge? How can you improve my results right now? What do you think you can do to help me? And the other thing that I would recommend, you have a point of view. Now, I'm basically positioning my point of view in this webinar. My point of view is you can absolutely conduct business in this environment. How you conduct it is the most important thing. And my point of view is if we do nothing, then we are not even, the battle is not being worth fighting, and that we owe it to all those others who are on the front line. We owe it to them to be successful so that they have a world to come back to as well. So that's my point of view. So have a think about your point of view. What do you stand for? What is it that you are passionate about and most interested in? And how can you turn that value narrative into the value that the customer sees is value to them? Not value to another customer, value to them. So you might want to, if you can get on the phone to them, you might want to call them up. You don't want to call them up and say, oh, look, isn't it terrible? Everyone's lost their jobs and businesses are failing. And hey, but I've got something that can help you. That's not optimistic, and that's not putting your customer into the story. Whereas if you ring them and say, hey, with everything going on around us right now, I've actually got some ideas that can help you drive efficiencies in your online business. And this is how I think we can do it. That puts them as the hero of the story. So it's, I've got some ideas that are going to help you achieve X, Y, Z. So that you're the hero. I'm not the hero. I'm not doing it. You're the one that's doing it, but I've got some ideas on how you can. You're the hero of the story. It's really, really important. And I know that you're probably thinking, what about financial objections right now? That's the question that it's always been an objection. Right now, it's probably straight away the most common objection. And my response to that is, if you start getting those questions about price or comparison to competitors really early up in your conversation, then it's clear that they've not seen the value in what you can do that helps them achieve their outcomes. If they can't see that they're going to get the outcome and all they are comparing on is price and attributes with your competitors, then you've not been good enough at your value narrative. You're not being good enough about customizing how they can be the hero of the story and the business case of working with you. I know it's not as simple as that. I know it's not that simple. But I need to keep reiterating that if they don't see the value in working with you right now, maybe there is no value in working with you right now. They simply don't have the money. And it doesn't mean that you say, right, see you later, next. Your reaction to that is, look, that's perfectly okay. What I'd like to know is, can you see any value of us working together in the future? And if they say, yes, I can, I just can't do it now, then you keep in contact. You say, that's perfectly fine. I'm here to help. Can I stay in contact with you? And they say, absolutely. Can I help support you? Absolutely. So coming in and wanting to be their friend, a new coffee buddy, a new lunch buddy, that's not going to work right now. It doesn't work anyway. A busy CEO or a business owner hasn't got time to go out for lunch with salespeople and suppliers. And all those cheesy rapport building techniques about, oh, you know, how was the football? Well, we haven't got any of that to be talking about anyway. It doesn't work. So, and it's certainly not going to work right now. Totally insincere and definitely inauthentic. So, is there anything on the chat? Sorry about I can't see this chat. I'll just try again, see if I can see it. Chat, chat, chat. Oh, okay, I can't see the chat, I'm sorry. So we'll keep going. At the end, I'll make sure the chat box is up so we can answer some questions. All right, we're going to go into some practicalities now, some actual things to do step by step. So if you are still lucky enough to have inbound sales leads, inbound calls or inquiries, you are so fortunate right now. Hopefully that means that you've got a good marketing machine that's working behind you, or that you are in a position of influence where you are attracting clients. So as your clients are coming into you, 3 questions I recommend that you ensure that you ask, and that is, can you help me understand what you are trying to achieve right now? And keep using the words right now, because I know they want to achieve this, but what does it mean for them right at the moment? That's going to help you really focus on what's going to help them solve any problems that they have right now. They also are probably coming in to improve something. Now, a range of different businesses on this webinar. So if anything from consulting and coaching and IT and a whole bunch of things. People don't come asking to not improve something. They come to you to improve something, or to get access to something, or to do something better, or to help them drive their business. So you're always there to help them increase something, improve something, and improve, to give them betterment of their life or their business. And then number 3 is crucially important, because what's happening right now? In sales, we often talk about a trigger event. Trigger events can be things like elections, the weather, disasters, a whole bunch of things. And right now, this is the biggest trigger event any of us have ever seen before, and hopefully that we'll ever see again. And this trigger event has changed so much. If they're coming to you with something that they think that you can help them with, help solve for them, just say, well, what's happened? Why now? We often talk about in selling, why did you come to me and why now? Well, why now is a really, really crucial one, because why now gives you a real sense of what needs to happen straight away so that what they're looking for, so that you can engage with them right now. So an inbound call is really crucial that you understand why they came to you and why now. When you are asking 3 questions like that, you are showing your positive intent. You're not on the call talking about you and what you provide and how you do it and what your prices are. All you've done is ask them questions and you get them talking. I get a lot of reluctant salespeople say to me, oh, I hate getting on the phone because I don't know what to say. And my answer to that is, you don't have to say anything. If you ask the customer a question and they talk, and all you do is take some notes and ask some follow-up questions so you can help understand what they are looking for right now, what they need. So if you've been reluctant to take those inbound calls, I'd say they're gold right now. You want to make sure that you can help them right now. Now, let me take a little sip of water because the next one's a biggie. Particularly for the person who came on and said that they've not really had to sell before, but now they have to. Going outbound, outreach. Some people call it cold calling, but let's not even go there because that just brings up a lot of fear in people. Let's talk about outreach. So you're reaching out to the world to find those people that you can help right now, okay? And when you're outbound, it can be quite simple. I wouldn't say it's always simple, but it can be quite simple. And again, using LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find someone's details and their mobile phone can be a really key way. The thing to do though is to really start to think about who is your ideal customer. That may have changed. Your ideal customer might have changed, and who's making decisions may have changed. So very simply, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Kim Cousins from Sprout Enablement. That's it. I'm not going to talk about what I do, what my company does, or anything. I just introduce myself. And then I'll say something like, my friend Julia Still suggested I give you a call because I have some ideas that I think I can help you to find new customers for your business. And I think we can do that in a way that's really heartfelt and sincere for this current climate. Do you have time to chat about that now? No? Okay, let's find 20 minutes in our diary for next week. How does that sound? So that's the very simplistic approach to an outbound call, where all you've talked about is the client and what you can do for them. But in this case, I've used a referral to give me the credibility to have that engagement in the first place. Now, if I don't have a referral or someone I can reference, it might be, I'm giving you this call today because I have looked at your company details and I know that you're going through changes at the moment. And I really think I have some ways that I think I can help you get customers. Or you might say, hey, you know, with everything going on right now with the pandemic, I've got some ways that will help you do X, Y, or Z. So there are 3 things that you can use as a reason for you having made that outbound call today. So when you use this sort of framework, you are really respecting time, you're respecting current situation, and you are really showing your positive intent. Okay, we need to keep moving. All right. I've got just another question here. I've got a question which was about going back to not being the friending strategy, like CEOs who are not going to have coffee lunch meetings are not the way. I would say they're busy people, whether it be today, last month, or in 6 months' time. They are busy people. They don't need new friends. They don't need new coffee buddies. What they do need are experts who can help them get better results in their business. So I hope that helps. I'm going to quickly move through now. All right. So we're almost there. Heart-led success. So what does it take to be successful in tough times? Elevate your value. Understand that you have value to someone to help them improve their lives or business. Know how you can help them right now. Change what you can do for them if it meets the needs of your market. And be sincere when you engage. And I've listed TLC. It's my 3-step process. T, take your time to understand how you can be of value to them. L, let them do the talking and answer your questions. And C is close with care, which means close it if it's of value to them right now. And I would give you some advice through all of this, and that is to be very proficient at being online. If you are not used to these Zoom type meetings, I would say you just need to practice. A couple of tips I have for you in that regard, and that is that engagement piece. Eye contact is really, really key. Now, as soon as I take my eyes down, or if I have my camera down low, I'm taking the engagement away. When I look up at my camera, I'm giving you much better engagement. Good light, good microphone, good environment, definitely, and standing up definitely helps your energy and helps your success and your positive intent as you're selling. So we will get through this. Those good times will remain. We'll come back. We're together, we're going to keep the wheels of business turning, and I want you to think about being that beacon of hope and continue to understand being the value to them and put them the hero of the story when you are actually talking to them. So, Julia, do we have time for a couple more questions if there are any?
I've probably got time for one very quick one. A few people have said, asked what the T was for again, so I've said take the time to get to know them. L was learn about their business, wasn't it?
Yeah, so take the time for T. L is let them talk or learn about their business. Yes, I like that. Thanks, Julia. I'll use that. So TLC, and close with care. And that's where you're showing your authenticity, your sincerity. And it doesn't mean that if they say no right now, that it's a no right now. It's a no forever. It could be a no for now, but you could continue that relationship for later. So let them talk, close with care. Awesome. Now, in terms of, yes, I would love to have more time for questions. But what I'd love you to do, if you would like to continue our dialogue and, oops, go back. No, not that way. Go back, previous and previous. There we go. All right, I'm more than happy to have a chat with you on the phone, or we can set up a Zoom. If you'd like to email me at kimcousins@gmail.com, I can give you a link to my diary and we can set up a 30-minute session. Look, this is, you know, we're all in this together. We are here to help each other. If I can give you one little thing that's going to help you in your business, then that's how I'm helping to fight the battle. That's my contribution to this. Yes, I have released a new book. It's only a week old now. If you are interested in taking this a lot further, my book is available right now, $19.95 Australian dollars postage. I do post to New Zealand very easily. And I can sign that for you, and we can continue taking this message further to the world. And, you know, selling's not a dirty word. Selling is something that we all have to do. Being a professional salesperson, it's a noble profession. And for those of you who are business owners that are now, I guess, being forced to go out and sell and find new customers, you don't have to be like the stereotypes. You can be yourself. You can use your heart. You can be authentic, you can build trust, and, you know, continue to be successful. So I'm going to thank you so much for being on this webinar today. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this subject. I wish you all the very, very best. Please reach out to me, kimcousins.com or kimcousins@gmail.com for email. And I'm happy to be of service to you. Stay safe, stay well, and good luck with everything.
Thanks so much, Kim. I really encourage everyone to reach out to Kim, especially at this time as a business owner. I think we can all, you know, get any help and advice we can get is a good thing. So Kim, thank you so much for your generosity and providing a session to the Vid19 conference. We are heading straight into our next session. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes break and I'll see you online shortly. Kim, thank you so much. And if I'm ever up in Queensland, it'd be great to sit down and talk through this a bit more. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.